Hey, what's good, guys? It's your boy CG, and we're back again, and this is episode 2. So, episode 1, I hope it wasn't too much of a disappointment to some of you guys. I know that you may have been expecting me to do the teardown at that time, a little bit of clickbaity. But from the here on out, I can promise you that all these videos are going to be actually going through components and you actually seeing the results of what I'm doing. So in this next video, this is episode 2. I'm calling this the repair, and this is where I've actually fixed the Scarlet that I'm shooting with now. I go over what I bought. I bought the 2 cameras, Epic and the Scarlet, in hopes to fix the Epic, which since it shoots 5K, but I wasn't able to get that finished yet. That still is going to be an ongoing project. This series of videos thus far is going to be just basically on how it came to me having the Scarlet right now. I hope you guys enjoy this. I put a lot of work and a lot of time into this. This was kind of a emotional thing as well, as far as like fixing it, because of just, like I said, the amount of money that I spent versus what this actually cost is like nothing. But being that I'm one of those people who can't afford to go out and buy a brand new Red, I got to the point to where I was kind of discouraged. When you're so hopeful for something and it doesn't immediately work out, it brings you down. And so this process right here took me a few days. Right now I'm gonna go through the video and let you guys see everything. I'm gonna strip it down from just this module. The way that this is constructed from the Epic is that you have 2 boards on each side. So this side right here, I feel, is more of the data transfer. Once I get this all off, you'll see like this is this can be a scary beast right here. And see, right off the bat, I can see that this is different. So this right here it's all gray. In the Epic, every board is red. These are power ports right here, and they're running power to other cards in here. And this is to the fan on top. I may have to salvage this board because I'm gonna zoom this in. At this one right here on my Epic, it's broken. That actual component where it snaps on is broken. This one has an upgraded fan in the top of it. My Epic X does not, so it's just a black hole. See, this is already kind of a worrying thing, because this is a chip that fell out somewhere at some point. I don't know. You know what? I actually see where this piece came from. I can solder this back in there. Underneath in this tray right here, it's come out of that. So this board right here that piece is off of runs your sync control and your headphones, I think, in this Gig E port. But we'll see more of that once I get everything open. So the way that this camera is put together, it's like all the boards are interconnected some kind of way. A ribbon cable may hold it onto the next board, or it is crazy. This is literally like a computer. I try to go ahead and replace it so that I don't lose track of it, especially when it's a different size than the others. Because like I said, you'll get lost in this thing pretty quick if you don't have some kind of organization with it. And this little tool, man, it's an amazing tool to have, because I get this stuff done in no time. So yeah, what I'm thinking right now is the power issue. I don't know if it could be caused by that chip. I know that chip is probably causing some issues, but the only thing I'm concerned with, which is my thoughts on this, this camera right here is that I think the sensor's bad. The guy that sold it said it wasn't bad, but I think the sensor's bad. So what we're gonna do is, these cameras, once you get the two sideboards off of it, they break apart. So you'll have the sensor section and then all your computing sections back here. So what I'm gonna do is just basically take the sensor section of this one and throw it onto the Epic, and then, because I know the Epic doesn't have any power issues, so I'm gonna switch them up and see if that works. So far what I see is this board is the only board that is different, which could mean that, you know, it could be native to the Scarlet, or it could have been a replacement itself. But all the boards inside of the Epic are red. These two sideboards hold all these layers that are in here together. I want to take these boards off. I really wish I had gloves. I don't have gloves, and you know, sorry to anyone who is freaking out about it, but I'm mostly freaking out about it. But I don't have any rubber gloves like I really want. This board right here has a lot of control over the fan. So the front fan that pulls in the air is controlled by it, and the top fan, which pulls air through it quicker. All right, got some tweezers, and I'm using these ceramic tweezers for all this stuff. I do have some metal tweezers, which I use sometimes. Well, I actually use them a lot. I just don't know where they are. See, this is something that I don't know if I noticed on the other one, that it has like a battery on the back of it. It has a cable that pops up on it. So far, everything is looking very much the same. Even this board is just a different color. Like I said, there's a battery on the back of this, and I think that's for this fan mod right here, since it's right over it. So we're just gonna put this guy out the way. We definitely know where that one comes from because it's a different color. So what I'm gonna do is put back these screws right here. I just really don't want to lose these. Or drop them into the camera. Anything that's different that I see is like extra in the Scarlet, I'm gonna put into the Epic. Holy, she's not. Yeah, that's something. I don't know why these screws don't magnetize very well. All right, so that's all that's done, and that's this side exposed. So here is your sensor unit. Behind that, there's the board that the sensor cables hook into, which in turn goes into these boards in the back here. See, the biggest part of this is your airflow through the camera. So this big chunk right here goes through the entire camera. That's what makes this camera big. If it didn't have to have that, then it'd be a smaller platform. This side over here is your, I'm pretty sure, to do with power. All this is power related things, how you power stuff. I'm gonna take this board off to get us to a point to where we're ready to open this thing up. This board has pins on the back of it back here. So what I'm gonna do is just pry it up from those pins. On the back of it, that's those pins that were right here. So far, I'm pretty sure that they're exactly the same inside. Only difference is, I think, it's going to be some of the processing in it, how the Epic processes versus how the Scarlet processes. I'm not looking at anything that I see that's unfamiliar at this point. Let me go ahead and throw these guys back in. So now I have to take off these screws right here that are around the, these basically hold the camera together. on this top piece, you have to get this there's this little wire that's right here that goes to the red link. And you gotta take that off, because if you don't take it off, then it'll snatch once you go to pull the front of it off. So here we go. This is how the unit comes apart. And so you have that board at the bottom that I was talking about. So you have to take this little plastic cage off. That's how it comes apart. The sensor portion is here, and then this is all your kind of computing power. The sensor attaches itself to this board in here, which I need to take out. I've got to take this fan out. So this fan just sits on the top over here. So I'm gonna put all the screws back with that. But what I really need is this top piece right here to come off. There we go. And this is that little wire that I was talking about that you have to take off. It's for the red link that's up under here. Now we have to take off the sensor. This is this little guard here. Keeps the sensor on. These are the same little straps that are on the Epic. So this is the board that that piece came off of. If you look right here, that's where those two little silver tabs, that's where that piece came out. But I'm not really too worried about that because the Epic has that in it. That's what it looks like. So this is kind of the area that I really don't want to touch. So if this works, the Epic's gonna have a Scarlet front plate on it. Everything in front of this is the same. This is what houses the sensor. So I'm not gonna be doing anything to this. I don't want to mess with it because I'm sure there's a lot of calibration things that are going on in this. So I really don't want to mess with it and mess it up. So it's between this board right here, which has all these video. This is where the sensor connects to. It connects to this board and runs. And then there's also another board that's right here, this bottom piece, which it may be a little bit difficult to actually get to and get out. I may have to, be creative with getting it out and not break it. So I think it's either this board at the bottom or it's this board at the top. But what we're gonna see, if it's not the sensor, I believe it's the sensor. So we're gonna which is what I was told it wasn't. It was definitely not the sensor, but I believe it may be the sensor. So we'll see. All right, so in the back of here, you just got all your little, your regular little modules, and like I said, everything connects to everything in here. All the boards kind of sandwiched together around the air funnel. What I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna stop right here, and I'm gonna get the other one taken apart, and then once I go to bring that back together, I'll resume the recording just so I don't waste film and waste you guys' time. All right, be back. So this is 3 days later. The reason it took 3 days is because when I put the sensor from the Scarlet onto the Epic, it gave me the exact same issue. I was happy that I had two sensors, but I was also discouraged that it didn't work and it didn't change anything. I was at the point of like, it hurt. It hurt to not, what I was thinking, fix it. And then the actual issue was the actual processing part, which makes the Epic and the Scarlet, and that actually hurt more because it was like the issue that's wrong with it is the main reason that I want the camera in the first place. It wasn't really until I started to shoot this series that I kind of got excited about having the Scarlet, since it was like the lesser of the two. I mean, once I seen the image quality and started like really understanding what this camera was capable of and the tier that it was. Even though it was the lowest red, it still like kind of beats out everything else. Also, I'm still going to be able to fix the Epic eventually. It's just certain stuff that I have to have bought to actually make this work. There's no giving in this. Everything that you're seeing right now is hard work, it's time, dedication, it's money, it's taking risks, you know. And so far, just having this camera has changed everything. Day one of getting this finished changed everything. You're seeing it firsthand what this looks like. When people want their video shot, this is the camera they're gonna want. It's gonna come at a price. But all right, I'm gonna get back to the video. It's gonna go over after I got the Scarlet fixed. So in the end, I end up changing out the IOB board, which is the input-output board, and which all your peripherals and all that stuff connect to, and it does all the processing for that. I don't know how that affected the startup, and I keep saying power, but it actually went to the power. I think it's the startup sequence that the starting up of the camera that was affected, and the IO was some kind of way buggy where it was affecting that. That's what ended up being changed out. The Scarlet may work all together. I haven't tried that yet. Don't want to try that just because it's working. I don't want to mess with it. I do have to go back into the Scarlet because I did forget one of the cables that goes to the wireless system. Not a big deal because I'm not using wireless right now. But I'll also shoot that and just, you know, that'll be a little quick something. I'm gonna let you guys get back to the video and we'll go from there. See, it's gonna come up on this screen over here. It's gonna plug into the HDMI. I have this battery pack. It only runs the camera for about 30 minutes. I gotta get another one. It's a lot of money that goes into this. I got 2 cameras for $3 grand. That's because they were broken. Now I have 1 working camera, which is now worth like $4 or $5 grand. As you can see there, you got the light is red. So what'll happen is it may go straight to green. So yeah, so this is like its warm up, and then it'll go green. So now that it's green, you'll see it pop up over here on the screen. And there we go. So right now it's just pointed at the keys, and I can do all my focus changing. Oh, so one thing that I've noticed, I don't know if anybody can tell me why it does this, but with Red, if you go into like the enhanced focusing, I have to do a hard reset on this thing. So the hard reset is you gotta hold it in, and what you'll hear is the fans will go high, and what it does is basically it resets everything in the camera. So once I hear it go high, then I'll let it go. And normally it's just the power light will go orange. Yeah. Now I'll let it go. Fan just went down, and what it'll do is it'll turn green, and then it'll pop up on the display. So now it's green. So the display, now the fans kick back on, and you should see an image up there here soon. Boom, there it is. And now when I press menu, I got all my menus. And the image quality on this thing, like, I'm only getting 1080p on the screen, and it's sick. I can't get the full quality of it because I don't have the card, but once I get that, then definitely. So I'll go down here to system status and go to camera info, and you see there it is, boom, scarlet-x, and there's all the. It's actually pretty low hours from what I've seen. I didn't realize that. So it's 273 hours. The Epic has about 600 hours. I'm controlling everything from the side handle, and this tells you all the stuff I got attached is the Canon mount, side handle. Probably one of the easiest systems that I've worked with. One of the things I had to do was calibrate the sensor. The thing with the Epic is I can never get the sensor to calibrate. This is the defaults of it. For this lighting, I know it's 3,200 degrees Kelvin. Actually looking a little warmer in here. I'll just pick this up and just work it around. And also I can show you, here's the recording setup. Lights and all that. Looking at all these parts and stuff right here, it's just amazing that all that turned into a camera. And it's something that I can use, something I can make money from. And the HDMI goes out up to 1080p 60, which is pretty good, because that's the same thing that my C100 over here, that guy, it's the same frame rate that it does, 1080p 60. One of the things I wanted to explain was exactly how these cameras were malfunctioning. When the Scarlet got here, I would press the power button and it would go to the orange startup light, and then it would just go back to red immediately. The Epic, which I got back in March, it was a video issue. I'll show a clip of that for you guys right here. The video just was not transcoding the videos. I assumed it was something to do with either the sensor or the actual processing board. So the price that I got, the first camera was the Epic X. I got that for $2,200. And then the next camera is the Scarlet-X, and I got that camera for $1,000. So $3,000, and then I had to buy a side handle so I could get into the menus, which I actually got that for $100. Because a lot of stuff that I get is supposed to be broken ends up working for me. So whatever, blessing voodoo that I got going on, I'm happy for it. Also, I wanted to talk about this screwdriver that I have right here. This is the motorized screwdriver, and it takes the precision bits. It's like all steel, and it is tough. It's not cheap. It was like $120, but the amount of work that I've done, I'm working on the cameras like Red, and I've worked on a lot of Canon cameras, lenses, all kinds of stuff, which I'm gonna show some of that stuff here in the future. But it's just like, this thing has been amazing. I don't have to sit there and wrench everything. I just turn it, hit the button, and it's good. If you go to Amazon, type in ES121, and this will pop up, and it comes with bits and all that stuff. I'm very surprised to have been able to achieve this level and grab this camera like that. Like, I was in the military. Throughout the military, I've worked on a lot of electronics. I've been through a lot of electronic courses. I've done that for almost 12 years. So the thing with it is that my comfort level with electronics by the end, I ended up medically retiring out. But my confidence by the end was like, there's nothing that I can't do. The challenge of going inside a Red is just like, okay, whatever, it's just another set of electronics. I understand electronics, so none of that stuff really comes daunting. I'm really glad of that, because I would never be able to do the things that I'm doing now. Another thing is, I felt like I should have fixed the Scarlet first. I think it was more of me wanting to fix the Epic because it had 5K. Yeah, that's great, but I don't have any SSD cards, so I can't shoot in 5K. So right now, I'm shooting in 1080p, which I had to find that comfort of saying to myself, like, well, I can't even shoot in 4K on the Scarlet. Thinking of 1080p, and from the cameras that I've experienced 1080p with, it doesn't look like what you're looking at right now. Feeling that boom of like, man, you're not gonna be recording in the highest resolution kind of hit me, but once I seen what the results that I were getting at 1080p, I was like, I don't even care. Like, this is better than what I've been getting at 4K from my Sony, so like, I'm good. You know what I mean? So I wasn't really like bothered by it anymore, and now I'm excited about it. Now I actually have an emotional attachment and care about it because I fixed it. But it would have weighed on me that I hadn't fixed the Epic yet, which is the reason I bought the Scarlet in the first place, was to fix the Epic. All right, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this one. This was actually, me putting it together. I tried my best to make this video short, but it's your boy CG. Next week is gonna be episode 3. This is gonna be the point where I figure out that I need to put together all the pieces that I have strode all over the studio. That's gonna be a lengthy one simply because it's gonna be the process of going through everything. So you're gonna see the build from nothing. Like, this camera could not have been stripped down any more than it was. So you guys get to see that. Tune in next week, episode 3. That's going to be the rebuild. It's your boy CG. Please subscribe, hit that bell so you can get them notifications. Share this with your friends. Support your boy. I'm trying to get to the point where I can monetize these videos, have more things going on besides this. All I can do right now is what I'm involved with, which is still a lot, but at the same time, there's like other things that I would like to do. All right, it's your boy CG, and I'm out.